Before the election was ran, I said I felt that the People's National Party would lose, and I didn't make that statement just as a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party who wanted to see the progress of the present administration continued. I said it out of deep introspection and out of watching the People's National Party over the years since I've been alive, and how they have managed to win election. It has been one, disinformation. It's been a scorched policy for the PNP. Violence, number one. Disinformation, lies, propaganda, gimmickry. My grandfather always referred to the PNP as a trickster party. Manly's trickster party. That's how my grandfather characterized it. And my grandfather was a good man, a really good man, my hero. I looked up to my grandfather and I trusted his judgment. And so, in fact, both my grandfathers. And so, it was not a difficult decision for me to, as a young lad growing up, to look at the two political parties and make my own decision as to where I would like to see my country go and what vehicle would take our country to where I would like to see it go. And I must say that the People's National Party was not that vehicle that would have taken Jamaica in the direction that I wanted it to go. And we saw the debacle of the Manly era, and that is not to say that nothing positive happened under Manly. Several social programs were initiated and became part of Jamaican social fabric. There's no denying that. But it came at a tremendous cost, to the point that it almost was a Pyrrhic victory because the cost was too great to our economy. And those policies could have been enacted and executed in a more sensible manner. Having said that went. But I continue to make the case that the People's National Party has not matured. The People's National Party has been running on the same ideas that were being used during the Manly era. They're running on the same political ideology, and they are not recognizing that the world has changed. Those of you who manage to follow me on social media know that I've continued to say this. I've said this repeatedly. The People's National Party, every time they go to the election, they still harken back to their old mantra, their old tropes, their old ideology, not recognizing that that time has passed. The electorate is never the same 5 years later. You're going to be dealing with a completely different electorate. But the PNP is still stuck in an ideological quagmire. They still believe that the voters are the same voters that they had around in the 70s and during the 90s when they had total control. It's not the same. And so this is a wonderful opportunity now for a third party. I noticed one of the political parties, my memory serves me correctly, the PPP has supposedly fielded candidates in most, if not all, of the constituencies. And some of them, look, it's early slugging yet, so they're not going to gain the traction. But those political parties need to go out and do the work so that people can see them, and they will start to gain ground. There are a lot of countries that have similar situation, the type of parliamentary democracy that we have. I could think of Australia, I could think of England, I could think of Israel, the state of Israel. They do have that kind of structure where multiple parties have seats in the parliament, and so sometimes no party get to the magic number that would allow them to form the government. So they have to join with another party to form what is called a coalition government. And that gives, I think it's a good thing, because it gives the country a more consensus-based approach when it comes to governance and legislation and that sort of thing. So I think I applaud that the third parties that are really putting in the work right now to get the Jamaican people to see that the PNP and the JLP are not the only two choices. And so I think that's the only thing that's going to change the PNP, because I think if the proper amount of work is put in, the PNP is going to become an inconsequential party in our country, because the old ideology of socialist giveaways cannot be the way forward for a young nation that has bright young people who have access to technology, and they're seeing how other people are living in other parts of the world, and they decided that's what they want for themselves. And they understand that they don't want anybody to give them a fish. They want to be able to be taught how to fish so they can go out and fish for themselves. They can enrich their lives by learning how to fish. These people who are smart, they want to excel in tech, and they want to excel in whatever business, whatever they put their hands to. Jamaicans are second to nobody when it comes to that, in their intellect and their abilities. So as long as the PNP continue to think that it can run on offering everybody free stuff, that is getting played out. And we see an unprecedented result last night in the return to power of the Michael Olness-led Jamaica Labour Party for an unprecedented third term. Because of that, it is a complete repudiation by the electorate. One, the first time Andrew Holness was elected. The second time they lied that it was because of COVID that Andrew Holness and the JLP won, which is retarded. And just on the face of it, any person would posit that kind of nonsense need to have their head examined, because the JLP voters turned out and voted. So it had nothing to do with COVID that the People's National Party voters did not turn out to vote in 2020. It is retarded and ridiculous. It's inane. And I heard one political commentator on one of the television channel. This woman who is a complete idiot said that the JLV victory is really a less than victory because of the fact that there's low voter turnout. Let me just say this finally. No one political party has any responsibility to turn out the entire electorate. Okay? So if 38% of the population turn out and elected the Jamaica Labour Party, the PNP should have turned out their people if they wanted a victory. And so what ought to be read in the apathy is not apathy towards the process. It's apathy towards the People's National Party's ideology and policies. That's the reality. People are showing apathy not to the party that they elect, but to the other party. Their voters are either voting for the Jamaica Labour Party because they're turning out, voting for the Jamaica Labour Party, or they're not voting at all, which is by default a vote for the Jamaica Labour Party. This is what the PNP need to recognize, and they need to do some deep soul searching, deep introspection, because the reality is the people are not opposed to the process. They are repudiating the People's National Party. Thank you for listening to me.